We love your station.
It's great.
Listen here. Listen here. Ghana Talks Radio. Ghana Talks Radio. Ghana Talks Radio.
Hello, lovely people of GTR. Lovely people of GTR. Viewers and listeners of GTR. It's another brand new day on the Ladies Avenue and also live on YouTube and Facebook as well. In today's episode of the Ladies Avenue, we are talking about marriage. Obibeka said, now this small girls, why would she be talking about marriage, or why would they be talking about marriage? But it's step by step. We learn from somewhere. We learn from something. A friend of mine always says that anytime I go into a relationship and I come out of that relationship, I try my possible best not to rush into another relationship. I try to figure out the cause of the breakup to mend my ways if the fault comes from me. This is most things people do not know about. They just leave a new relationship, they jump to another relationship. I say no move because So the name is Onhimachi Mode and Onhimachi Mode. I'm in the studios today with Onhima Lillian, Nance, and Gertrude also. So today's topic, we are looking at the basics one has to consider before getting married. Basic one has to consider before getting married. We all know marriage is a really long process. It is a do or die affair. So death do us apart. So for you to keep that vows with the right person, what are the basic stuffs or important things you need to acknowledge, you need to see before you jump into any marriage? Marriage is a beautiful thing. Some people get married because of reception, some people get married because of the dress. But why do you get married? What are certain things you consider before getting married? That is why I have with me Onhima Lillian, aka Kaswa Beyonce, and also Nance and Gertrude with me today to elaborate. And also delve deep into this conversation. So without wasting much time, we will begin with our conversation. Onhima Lillian.
Yeah.
Everything cool.
Yeah, everything is fine.
All right. Nance and Gertrude, hope you can hear me.
Yes.
All right. So today we are looking at basics. Basics one has to consider before getting married. Marriage is a long process. We can't just get married because you like the person or you love the person. There are certain things you have to consider. What if the person is disrespectful to you, but you just say because I love the person? What if the person doesn't bring you peace, but because you say you love the person, you just jump into marriage or accept the person's proposal? So today we want to learn more. Look at the basics, what we have to consider before we accept any marriage proposal. So I'll start with Gertrude. Yeah, Gertrude.
Okay. When it comes to marriage, these days marriages are a bit tricky.
I think it has a lot to do with the kind of generation we are in, and maybe how many of us or some of us grew up, seeing our parents' marriages and marriages around us, and how it ended or how it fared. So I don't know, because the truth is, you can be in a relationship with someone and they might tick all your boxes, whether everyone has their own, like, what they're looking for in a man or in a relationship. So maybe they are financially stable, they are God fearing or good looking, and
Okay.
emotional intelligence and blah blah blah. But one thing I've learned in my almost 3 decades in life is you can never tell. Sometimes when divorces happen and all the drama, I mean, we've seen a lot of these things on social media, and all across, people are like, oh, and my marriage will not fail. Oh no, I that's why it's important to marry your best friend. And I'm like, you people just, you don't know what you're saying, because I don't think anybody goes out there to marry their enemy or someone that they hate.
Exactly.
But life happens, and sometimes you feel like you know somebody but you don't, and you can't really know someone. So how, like, what do you do? How do you decide that this is the right person? And when, if you're a Christian, people be like, oh, you need to pray about it. But I don't think those who have issues, or should I say those who have divorced and all that, they didn't pray before they married. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, or if you're a Christian, you will definitely pray about your soon to be spouse.
Yeah.
But then life happens, and that's one thing I've also learned out. In preparing for marriage, even the person ticks your boxes and you prayed about it, you've done all your due diligence or whatever you have to do. I feel like it's important to keep it at the back of your mind that this thing, I mean, you said something in the beginning, which I was like, okay, this marriage is not a do or die affair. You don't necessarily have to do it if you don't want to do it. It is not a guarantee for happiness.
Okay.
It is not something that everyone should really aspire to. It's all about individual preferences. But in the case where you want it or you desire it and you go for it and you realize this is not for me, just there's no shame in walking away, because we made it look like, oh, like, if your marriage fails, it means you failed as a woman, and all that's just societal misconceptions. You need to keep it at the back of your mind that whether the marriage works or not, you're still you still have your identity intact. I think that is something that's we women, or it's not just men, I mean, everyone should keep at the back of their minds when they are venturing into marriage, because we see the nice weddings, the trending hashtags and all that on Instagram, and it's not. But I mean, personally, I know a classmate of mine who, it's unfortunate, but we got married a few years ago and now divorced, and a whole lot of, you don't sometimes you don't even want to hear about the stories, because it's quite sad that things end up like end that way. But this is life, so I just feel like marriage is a hard institution, and it can be tricky. But we shouldn't make it look like our whole life should depend on that, and we shouldn't make it look like that is all there is to life.
All right. Okay, so ninth, I'll hear from
Yes.
you also.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I've always said marriage isn't the final goal, but if you are going to be married, there is a lot more things than just love that you look at, isn't it? I feel like as a person, before you even look at the person you're coming to marry, as said, it's important to know why you want to be married. It's important to know what you as a person want out of the marriage. Because a lot of people, were trained to be like, marriage is what you do next, is the next step. But not everybody is ready for it. So I think it's important to, a basic consideration is why you want to get married. Are you ready for this marriage? Um, is it because your friends are getting married? Is it because you just feel like that's the next step? Are you ready? Because to be ready for marriage is to be ready to be, to be responsible for somebody else, and for somebody to be responsible for you.
Yeah.
For you to have to consider other people's feelings. And sometimes it's okay to be selfish, you know, and just be like, me, I'm not ready for marriage. I still want to enjoy my life a bit. I don't want to have to be, considerate of anybody's feelings, for example. Because once you're married, that's what it is. You have to be considerate of somebody else's feelings. You have to be considerate and put how somebody else is gonna think or feel ahead of yourself. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's definitely one thing that you need to consider first before you even consider the person. Is if you as a person is ready for it.
Okay. If you as a person you are ready for it. So Hima Lillian. Guru. So can you give us
what you said something?
Guru?
I've listed my point here.
You've listed your point.
And I'm wearing my this thing too.
So you are ready for action. Okay, so can you give us the basics?
Okay, so things to consider before getting married. One, this one is very, very necessary. Communication. Our elders used to say that aware no quite worry. Right now it's like a joke. It's like as a game for most people, because maybe he or she has a friend and then within a short period, like waware, so they think that marriage is just a normal thing. Like once you love the person, once you click with the person, you are free to go. No, but even if you want to be in a serious relationship or any serious marriage or something, first this thing has to be I would say communication.
It has to be the key point.
Yes, communication. Healthy communication requires a happy marriage. Second, family background. Somebody will say, why is Ohima saying family background? Relax and get ready for me.
Hey.
Today I'm in the spirit.
I can see that.
Today I'm in the spirit. So a person's family background may have significant impacts on their personal beliefs. World overview. Understanding each other, family background, and how they could impact the marriage is essential before getting married. For instance, there can be a conflict if one partner was raised in a strict, in a strict way or something. It can lead to maybe many problems. And also conflict resolution. So that's the third point. That's a marker 2. Okay, so there will always be friction in marriage. Couples must be able to resolve disputes. It involves listening to one another, overview and over points, identifying points of arguments, and also comparison, when there is a issue. Because in case maybe you guys are dating can lead to marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you can't solve problems within you, then there is no way for you people to get into marriage.
Yeah, there's this renowned counselor who once said, if you can't contain or harbor the nonsense in a relationship, how much more can you take a full bucket of nonsense and stupidity in marriage? So it's
like maybe you guys are dating and maybe you guys are in marriage, like serious marriage or something, and maybe you love to travel, or maybe your own is like going to parties and other things, and your other partner is not interested in that thing. Always there's going to be a conflict, like arguments and stuff. So you have to look at all this before you just go into any marriage.
So we have to look at, first of all, Human Lilian said communication. But in every relationship, communication is the first and key factor. Communication. Then you made mention of family background and also conflict resolution. Sometimes family background, most people do not see the essence of family background, because they are like, it's you I love and not the other
family
person. Yes, and not their family.
They are all parts.
Yeah, they are all parts. Sometimes in you see some family, they are, excuse me to say or pardon me, most of them disabled people. So some people say if you get married to the person, the possibility of you giving birth to a disabled child is really high. I don't know how true that is, but
It's all
they
lies.
say it's really,
It's
really.
all lies.
But you know, say in the olden days, this family background, this is what they used to check. If your family is full of disabled people, thieves, blindness, they wouldn't accept that marriage. Yeah. And also conflict resolution, how to solve problems within yourself is also important. So yesterday, there was this conversation going on TikTok and all social media handles. A man got married to the newly bride, like newest bride in town. Everyone say, "Yeah, worry on him, Lillian, fresh." Come on,
Don't use me for an example. I know where it went.
So they went for their honeymoon, and they had a swimming session. So the moment this man saw the wife without makeup, he panicked. He was like, is this the wife I married? He said he can no longer marry her again. He can't marry her again.
Like this thing, I've heard it. Well, it's like it's something that goes around in like the social media circles, but this happened like in 2023, like this year.
Yeah, this year, just yesterday. Yesterday the news came up that the lady, the guy saw the lady without makeup, and then he said he's no longer interested in the relationship, in the marriage. I wouldn't even say it's even up to 2 days. Yeah, he said he's no longer.
They went to a nice place, like they went to book a hotel. Yeah.
And normal kusumi kama honeymoon. Nani na jego. So my key point is, did this man marry this lady because of beauty? And first of all, my question is, aside this beauty thing, does he want to tell we Ghanaians that he never saw this lady without makeup? All this time they were dating.
I mean, do you know, this is what I was saying about you need to understand and acknowledge the reasons why you as a person want to get married. Because for him, possibly he wanted a trophy wife. Maybe he wanted somebody that was perfect 110% of the time. And to say if he's seen people with makeup or not with makeup, I mean, I can't really speak on that, because I know there is some women that they will refuse to not wear makeup. Like, you can hear stories where there's women that they sleep in the makeup, or they wake up early and they do their makeup before the day starts. All of that stress and wahala, I'm not involved in that. But there's people that do it. There's people that do it. So for that situation, boy, innit. But he needs to realize and acknowledge the reason why he's upset, and the reason why he wants to get married. Is he upset that he feels that he's been lied to, or that he wasn't aware? Like, what's the issue?
He's upset because the lady is not beautiful. So it means the lady has been deceiving him with makeup all this while.
So the man waiting for
what is the deceit here? Because unless I don't know these things. When I hear such things, I don't even know what to make of it, because I'm like, okay, if you really, because if you during your dating phase or whatever, you were always seeing the person in makeup, and if, let's say, maybe you talked about it, or maybe inquired why, I don't know, because normally if you don't live with someone and the person is very heavy on makeup, you would definitely or probably not see them without it. Unless maybe you guys traveled and maybe you spent some time together, and obviously, like Nance is saying, like, if she goes to bed with makeup and wakes up, that would be very difficult. But I'm just wondering what kind of makeup would like make you transform. But I mean, it happens. Like, to me, it's like more like a makeover, because I don't think makeup is supposed to change your face entirely. But I've seen some serious transformations on social media, and I'm like, okay, I mean, this is an entirely different person. So it's unfortunate for the man, but because I don't know, it's quite tricky, you know, it's quite tricky. But I didn't think these things are still happening, because I've heard of these stories before, but I didn't know it was still a thing like currently.
It's really happening. Even with this makeover, you could see, or you can see, a really old woman being transformed into someone really, really beautiful.
Like 16 years.
Hey, and the men, sometimes the men, I blame you, Sha, because why would you see a lady with makeup, sometimes heavy makeup, which means a concrete span and people or they are telling any, but still this man will go in for that person like they are beautiful.
I mean, they want to enter there. So immediately they enter there, and then the things
Enter where?
enter where
enter the down there. They're down there. Bema bia person who they was skirting.
Yes.
You know, some guys,
but not all guys.
some
always
of them,
follow
some
women
of them,
with skirts. Yeah.
But I used to have I have one friend. He always used to say that, "Oh no, I'm pair or buy a shenika or per skirt we bar so." I'm saying now we should be the last time that we should skirt, you know. Bema baby na person who they was skirting. Oh, baby na person who they were about you and skirt. Oh, who say pet. So this man like this. He didn't went in for love.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Look.
No. Yeah, he went in for looks. Yeah.
Because according to what you and I heard, like, Obani feels when he move, yeah, and the eyelashes be able to do, or say this is not the woman that I married.
But sometimes, okay, most ladies.
Yeah, back can. Be man is one worry be. I think
You see, if only she had someone who really understands her, because I feel her insecurity is her not being beautiful or something.
And I'm sure maybe
physically.
the guy, maybe anytime that she's with a guy will say, "Oh, me, I like someone who is pretty. That's my spec." We have guys, spec. Oh, it's really bad. So some of them, anything, they are. We can say, "Be more so crack."
Pachoka bro for me.
Some of them, they are part of.
All involved. They're all involved.
They are all involved. True.
They are the reason why most of the ladies do that, go into such thing, and then they even borrow.
Laboro.
Oh, please let me borrow this your makeup. I'll give it to you. Oh, me twice him. I'll double
There
it.
is the reason why most young ladies die at a really young age.
Pressure.
When they go into this BBL surgery and stuff. This guys, because it's like now guys want big nash and big boobs.
I
When
mean
you
the
are
big
slim,
nash,
they don't
they
like
run
it.
things. So
When you are slim, they don't want it.
No.
Sometimes men, you are the contributing factor. You really major factor. You contribute to all these things happening to some ladies, because some men they'll be like, some men are really really blunt. When they see you, they'll be like, you are not beautiful.
you're not my spec.
Yes.
Me, I'll slap you.
Makeup can also change someone. Make her more beautiful.
The last
long
time
lashes.
I saw some guy he's telling me that me I'm short. Can you imagine?
So,
He doesn't like girls who are short.
The issue with men and all of these things is, and I want ladies to understand this. You don't have to be everybody's spec,
okay.
but
Sure.
that doesn't mean that you are less than, because you're somebody's spec. And if you're nobody's
Exactly.
spec, it doesn't matter. Like, you're living your life for yourself. Somebody out there can see it. It's not about specific people. Because unfortunately, in this life, it's not everybody that you like that also has to like you.
Yeah. So if someone is not your spec or says they are not their spec, I mean, they are not the only person in the world that, you have to date or you have to be with. You definitely find your spec. And just like Nan said, even if nobody likes you, you like yourself. That's the most important thing.
Love yourself
Exactly.
first.
Okay, so our final. Oh, okay. So there's a message from Ras Ella Babe. She's saying we have lost our ways as Africans in marriages, because before a woman marries into a family, her family goes back door to door to do proper checks before accepting. But today we just present men or women anyhow.
We are in computer world.
Computer,
so
yes.
things have
computer.
changed. Yes.
But those things, sometimes I wonder if, well, I think they kind of meant well. It's just like when we talk about all the puberty rights that they used to do, the idea behind it, was maybe to them it was good, but the execution, because the truth is, how would it even play out in today's generation? Because I mean, people can hide things. I believe that when I hear because of certain stories and things that I read and I've heard, I think no matter how much you investigate, people can really hide things. I mean, we've heard stories of men having two families in different countries or different cities, and I think there was a story of a man who died, and that's when the family realized or found out that he had a whole another family which is somewhere else. So these things, we shouldn't make it look like, oh, just because those days they used to go and do all those investigations. So listen, a bad person is a bad person, and sometimes I just said that you just have to maybe hope and pray for the best, because no matter the investigation and all the questions you ask, and someone can still mess up your life even having done all those things.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
sorry to interrupt you, but don't you think, looking at the olden days marriages and looking at this modern day marriages, I feel olden days marriages really lasted long than compared to
That's the
today.
problem. That's the problem. That whenever someone says, Nas, go on. No.
Sorry. So what I was coming to say is, even maybe not even your parents' relationship, maybe your grandparents' relationship. If you want to do olden day, how not even to get into anybody's business or whatever. Some people's parents and their grandparents have never been happy. They've just been sitting there taking whatever issue is there. That's the difference between olden day marriage and today's marriage. Today's marriage, because a lot of, let's say, the women and the men, you're kind of on the same level now. So now we're not taking those issues. You can't come and be giving me headache when I'm doing the same thing you're doing. Back in the day, our mothers and our grandmothers and so forth and so forth, you had to rely on them a bit more. Do you get?
Yeah.
So you kind of just deal with the situation as it is. That doesn't mean they were happy, or they were just happy to say they were married and that they have their lives. And they're okay with that. It doesn't mean it was good.
And that's whenever I hear people say, oh, I mean, girls of these or ladies of these days or women of today, they don't like to endure our mothers. And I'm like, you're comparing two different eras and generations. And you've forgotten that in those days, many women were not even financially equipped. So a lot of women will stay in marriages that are obviously abusive, or should I say emotionally abusive or in toxic marriages, just because divorce was seen as a thing of failure, or you'll be tagged as you just kind of be seen as, I don't know, a complete, I don't know the word to use, but you get what
as
I
an
mean.
outcast.
Exactly. So a lot of women were forced to be there, but now people have options. If the thing is not working, and if they are being abused, whether it's emotionally, physically, whatever, they just have the option to move in. Damn the consequences. Who cares? I mean, yes, I'm a divorcee. It's not a title, It's not something that I have to be ashamed of. It's just like starting a business and a business failing. A lot of, if you talk to a lot of CEOs and a lot of all these business tycoons, they'll tell you that probably they started how many tons of businesses that failed, and maybe out of the 20 that they started, it's just one or two that stood their feet. So, I mean, you don't have to be, nobody has to be shamed, or nobody has to be made to feel like less of a human just because they went into a marriage and they feel like it shouldn't be. So those comments and longevity is not necessarily equal to success. It's the fact that you've been married for 14 years doesn't mean that, I have to look up to you, because I mean, good for you if your marriage was really good and you were very happy, but that is not the reality for someone. Someone may be just married for a year, two, and if they can't take it anymore, they can't take it. It's fine. We should really welcome, or not make it look like when people who have divorced or people who have left marriages are failures, especially women. In relationships, sometimes it's really not cool. I don't know, society. Even if society doesn't change, I think a lot of people, especially women, should start making such decisions. If you have your financial stability and you have your peace of mind, is more important than being in any relationship or marriage that is not serving you.
Okay, so okay, so now just you're talking, then you give us your final remarks.
Of course. I agree with everything that has been said, which is why I've always liked to hone in to my friends and my sisters, the GTR listeners, that marriage is not the only goal in life. yes, it's great, and yes, there's beauty to it, but I don't believe you should strive for that to be the only thing that you can do, because that's when you settle for situations that you don't need to be in. um if we're talking about basics that you need to do before marriage, is look into yourself, decide if it's what you want. Obviously it's a goal, and if you want to go biblical, you should be getting married and multiplying and so forth, but it's not for everybody. So decide what is your dream, decide what your goal is, and just do that, and don't just fall for anybody just because they say that they love you, because
Okay. All right. Gertrude, do you have anything else to add up?
Yeah, I think people should we should no in social studies back in school we used to learn rites of passage, and the rites of passage includes childbirth, adolescence, marriage, and death. Yeah. I think those were the main like rites of passage. And I think growing up, or like as I'm older now, I feel like our schools or our education system also doesn't help. Some of the things that we are taught, or even in our homes, some of the things that how we were raised. Because if your parents or don't unlearn certain things, or they raise you the way they were raised, certain toxic behaviors or certain things are handed down from generation to generation. And if society goes on like that, I mean, I always say that the mess that we are currently living in, a lot has to do with how most of us were raised up in our homes. So that's why it's the family unit, who you marry, who you have children with, is very important. Because not everybody deserves to be a father, not everybody deserves to be a mother, a wife, husband, whichever way that you fit. So I just feel like we need to start making conscious decisions. Like anytime, if you want to get married as a young girl, ask yourself, why do I want this? Like, really be honest with yourself. Is it because of societal pressure? Is it because, oh, all my friends are getting married? Or is it because I saw people on Bella Niger or on Instagram and the wedding dress looks nice? Is it because, like, what exactly do you want out of your life? Does marriage fit into it? Maybe in your 20s, you may be all about chasing your goals and dreams, and it may not be a thing for you. It's fine. But maybe as you grow older, maybe you begin to crave. It doesn't matter if you can always change your mind. Maybe you didn't want it earlier in your life, then maybe later on you want it. It's fine. Don't let anybody pressure you or push you into any union that you regret. Because nobody has died from being single. People say, oh, loneliness will kill you. Loneliness never killed anybody. And sometimes your soulmate might not even just be in a man or a romantic relationship. It could be your friend, could be your sister, it could be anybody. Doesn't necessarily mean you're romantically involved. So, like, we should need to start making conscious decisions about who we invite or who we let into our lives. And right now, or these days, I've been seeing, I don't know what's happening in Ghana, this whole thing about this person killing their girlfriend or their wife. And it's crazy. Like, my friend and I, we always talk about it. Like, imagine going into a relationship or a marriage only not to come out alive. Like, what is happening? Like, I don't understand. So we really need to stop putting pressure on people to get married. And people should also, especially women, because I think that women are mostly the ones affected by some of these, abuses and killings and deaths and all that. So we need to really start owning our lives and our decisions. Stop allowing society to decide for you, and decide for yourself what you want in your life, and damn the consequences of what people think. What people think doesn't pay bills, or it doesn't add any value to your life. Opinions, people will always have opinions, and it should be okay with that.
All right. Thank you very much. Himalulian, anything else?
I think they've said all.
They said all.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Lovely people of GTR. Marriage is not by force. You have to consider all these things. First of all, we made mention of communication, which is the key factor. Communication. Next is family background and also conflict resolution. You have to consider all these things. You should know marriage is not all about love. You shouldn't say you love this person, so the person disrespecting you, you still be there in the relationship with that person. They say a dysfunctional relationship is better than a broken union. A dysfunctional relationship is better than a broken union. So flee now before anything bad happens. Marriage is not by force. Marriage is sweet. People get married because of the food, because of the wedding dress. And some also be share attire white. No, didn't know. No can say, here comes the bride. That is what everyone's was. Yes, and also the title, which is the ring. Or Nantia. Even if the person is saying hello, they'll be like, oh, hello, viewers. You just the person is like, hello. Okay, so this is where we end today's show live on Ghana Talks Radio and also live on our YouTube channel. The name is still Ohima Chimude. Big thanks to Ohima Lillian Nance and Gertrude for educating us as always, and a big thanks to my producer DJ Rock, the only rock without us, and all to our beautiful viewers and listeners of GTR. Don't forget to download our GTR app on Google Play Store, Amazon, Huawei Gallery, Android TV, and many more. You can also visit our website www.ghanatalksradio.com. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of your day.
So someone and I don't want to inside the Crammy so Sikani Kokuni keep watching Ghana Talks Radio. Gang, pow. So I'm in love with my bestie and I don't know what to do. Edinia ABOCHI and you're listening to Ghana Talks Radio. Stay tuned. Hallelujah.
I'm Miriam Holasi Tojago, Miss Ghana 2022, and this is Ghana Talks Radio. Keep listening.
Hi, my name is Dapper Jaden, and keep on listening to Ghana Talks Radio. Hey, what up, people? This is Camilo, aka Mr. Grind On Stop, aka Top Boy, and this is Ghana Talks Radio. Peace and love. Keep it locked. Love. It's your boy Malcolm Nuna, and you are watching Ghana Talks Radio. You not touch the dial or your finger gonna get burned. Nuna, na, say. Hey, what's up? My name is Jay Foley. Yes, and you're live on Ghana Talks Radio. That's what's up, yeah?
Ghana Talks Radio. What's up here? I'm now about to be a sharp. I'm first so what's Ghana Talks Radio?
One more what when I'm a chasteno, it's like dead. Keep listening, Ghana Talks Radio. Keep it locked. Aye, it's like dead.
I don't know, radio no more Kasana Muti. SI TV. If you end up on don't go watch the other station. The station is Ghana Talk Radio. I don't start confirming it, but don't forget to add fun to the.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ Breezy. Keep watching Ghana Talks Radio.
Hi, my name is Parents Music, and keep on listening to Ghana Talks Radio. Beautiful.
Ghana Talks Radio. Ghana Talks Radio. This is big.
Yes. Cool.
Ghana Talks Radio.